opening ceremony that will be happening in Tanzania. Remember, Kenya will be hosting the final. And we are asking this morning, we have a trivia question, and we are asking how many CHAN titles has DRC Congo won? Engage with us on our Twitter page at KBC Channel 1. How many CHAN titles has DRC Congo won? That is our trivia question this morning. And you can put the hashtag CHAN 2024 at tag me at Njenga or at KBC Channel 1. Or welcome to this morning conversation as we look at also other matters that are making headlines. This morning we have reporters who have pitched camp across the country. We have our reporter from the affordable housing program. We have various reporters at Parliament looking at the various parliamentary committees. And this morning we'll be having a conversation on the economic impact of counterfeit goods in Kenya and the role of the recordation in curbing illicit trade. And to expound that more on us is Henry Maina, who is the Deputy Director, Research and Policy Authority. This morning, Mr. Now, Kenya billion annual revenue to do. I'd like to know from this conversation the value paid and also in terms of, if I may say so.
One is it is important that the country continues to have a discussion on and fight illicit trade, and illicit trade covers a number of. First is to understand that there would be substandard goods not meet the threshold of standards that have been set by the country. The agency that controls standards is KBC. We have custom and uncustomed goods. So trade bracket, you also have uncustomed goods and these would be goods that have not been paid for due taxes. The smaller category that, and while the total illicit could be that the country loses 100 billion, a smaller share of that attributable to counterfeits. But we must have a deleterious effect on the economy. So it's not consumers, it affects the countries. People lose, the country loses the legitimate revenue in terms of taxes. But we also lose jobs. When people use us as a dumping ground to our manufacturers or legitimate manufacturers cannot. Three, we have issues of safety, health. An example, most people, but the earliest fight on counterfeit was herbicides in Kenya, where somebody herbicide that was supposed to be used on coffee in the early 70s, and it was were deceived that this herbicide, but it had been manufactured, I think, from one, and it nearly wiped out the in Kenya. So that can be very problematic. They can wipe out and cause a myriad of, and they can also cause you untold suffering, because thinking that now you are protected. We've had issues of counterfeit seeds, counterfeit. There is no sector that is totally safe if we are all not vigilant.
All right. Now, porous borders and low awareness make enforcement. To hear from you, Mr. Maina, how you as an authority are measures like the electronic recordation, which you recently that we curb entry of counterfeit goods into the country.
Yeah, so reality is what we processing. and as the is to begin helping us in curbing counterfeiting. Is a process that they organized in early 2023, so it's been on 2 years, and the intention is to have rights holders, so the owner of any investor with us, and therefore, for instance, let me use Adidas now that we are going. If Adidas has Adidas balls, Sababa. After recordation, they've told us we manufacture in Cairo, manufacture in Johannesburg. We find a consignment coming from Johannesburg with a, so we are able to track that container because there will be declarations they come from Vietnam or they come from, so anytime just by we begin to have telltale that container from Durban arrives. So recordation to conduct enforcement inspections. Had a challenge of trying to check, and that was problematic for the flow of. Number two, it helps owners to know that Kenya protect their brand. So to rise as a business that Kenya will respect their owners and their brands to legitimate trade here. We who try to counterfeit their products, they are genuinely sanctioned.
Okay.
That elevates the country not only for purposes of sale, but also safeguarding their.
Okay. The recordation of imports indicated for 2 years.
Yes.
I would like to hear from any importers currently complying with the permit application.
Yes, I think largely the financial year that has just ended from July 2024 to 30 2025, over 180 permit applications, and a big chunk, 145,000 percent were rejected, were eligible because either they were small or they were wrong, or they were goods for have been living in diaspora and were their own products. So is being well taken. The authority on that system, the Kenya Trade, is rated to be among efficient organizations because is less than half a D. You make your applications. Most of the applications were processed in less than for when they were made. So, number of officers to be able to while the that if the any of the body it would see to facilitate processing.
Have you encountered implementation?
I think one has been knowledge, why the process have only tended to look at fees charged. So they just tend to extra cost that they onto them. But realistically, people who are doing legitimate business keep their market. If I'm competing with you, counterfeit goods, my prices, and so you would always not find market share. So to do, including to be on, indicate to traders, the anti-counterfeit authority, your ally, wants you to keep your market share, that when you have an import permit and has done a record, are able to do targeted enforcement counterfeiters, allowing you by keeping your market, your profit margins and other costs will you may have wanted.
Okay.
If not, you're required to have your own processes to clean up the market. It would be a bigger cost on manufacturers. So one, less are doing it in good faith. Few countries in Africa recordation. The other one is only. So less and push so that a better country we can, and as we transfer as could being a big create jobs, children, siblings and other relatives will be able to live that have gone through by starting to use counterfeits.
What is the among small-scale traders?
Import permits, I think about 80-89% today. There are a few other challenges that emerge. People who are bringing in goods, sometimes you get consolidators have filed all the products they've imported, may not have had all disclosed. Get situations where not be approved because their import not duly not have certain because consolidators different kinds. Sometimes if one did not avail such data to delay the others who, because the whole, so we are in Association of Manufacturers, engaging different groups of traders, them about the system will serve them. That unless otherwise, if you make for an import, have it in less than 2 hours. Any other reasons that have, you are entitled to make a complaint, the authority to the CEO. A review will be done so that we keep facilitating.
This education and awareness program, how do you do? Yes,
education take different approaches, and previously we only programs in English, and now enhanced that process, recordings and major Kenyan languages. If you speak Lui, or if you speak Kikuyu, speak Mijikenda, Riama, or any of the other, you will find that speaks to you and most. Okay. Second, trying to use different platforms. We have been doing things, those market centers to educate that a number of Kenyan social media platforms on different social media, on Facebook, on X, you're likely in all those, and the intention of those programs. Formal engagements are engaging with primary, because we understand them young and begin to in a brand and keep those processes. Engaging a team that is stationary and educated as we head for the third exams, sets, rulers, counterfeit, our young ones to fail. Because if you are using a company and not hold into their, every time you take a measure of paper, it has lost, and that means you are. That is one of the reasons to engage with schools. That a counterfeited job will not give you the when you are doing or your physics exam. You could also set book. So because it was a book, it might not be content. So you have been revising using the right, it seems to be the one, but the content, that was not what was. The result have been that you have students confident that I did. The results come, so we want institutions, we want publishers, different brand owners, Stedler, who school stationery, young people understand in keeping it real. You are unreal, it would.
Okay.
Engagement. We are all is the in schools. We sponsored the music festival, had own compositions, messages, and we know becoming so popular, beginning to develop games and any that help.
All right.
So there is that we on the curriculum, but another review process we will be gladly also have a bigger for and even that they get to what do they endorse. Journalists, media personnel, and some where prominent of it. So many the product that they endorse.
If I could talking about fit product, what channel of to the author?
There are of you reporting is if you are able social media on social media, you are able to get anti-counterfeit, and you can send us a. You could also for our offices, we have offices at the National Water Plant area. We have offices in Mombasa, offices in Kisumu, in Lunga, Manga, and the intention is to be close to where you are. you don't have access to, you don't have internet, then you. But one of the is safeguard the product that you don't leave the product at home. A complaint, because then it etiquette your complaint. Buying a product, one of the things carried Kenyans insist a receipt, because we have somebody saying Henry Maina, but there was no receipt. Does is just to say this is not, and there is nothing that. The third way is knowledge. If you've been buying a cooking oil, for those who use any oils, the manufacturers have to move on brand the product. So today, you cooking liquid where the manufacturer has lead twice, or if you find one that when you there is a high likelihood. So we want so that you can using shoe polish, that the knob that switches breaks open the first time. I must go back to the packaging. Did I buy the right one, or was I? If it's Vaseline, slightly more, so that when you are able to know this, at the pricing. If cooking oil at liters and you 5 liters at 200, something wrong. You need to be wrong with this. And most counterfeit, it could be stormed, and that is. So we will consumers in different using mobile phones. You are able to our phones. You are able to see any communication, and you can also somebody else to help me file this, able to translate it. So you must have known how to read it. Must then be oral complaint if you are not literate.
Okay. Go into the regional and emerging. Ask our audience. Many Chan Congo won. That is our trivia question this morning. How many Chan titles Congo won? You can engage us on our Twitter page at KBC Channel 1. Tag me at W Njenga. How many Chan titles Congo won? That is this morning. Now, picking up from mine, I would like to look at the regional and significant is the role of neighbors borders in the influx.
Yeah, that's one I began by the region. Only Kenya anti-counterfeiting. First, different models, but within the is now a process to try a joint that would set how we define and similar process enforcement. We do that joint law, so each different processes. Tanzania has authority to fight counterfeits, has it within which is like the has more other functions. South Sudan, Rwanda and Burundi authorities that fight. One of the proposals American law would be dedicated authority authority where they are not educated authority like in Kenya, then they can any other authority to have. But increasingly, been a lot of cooperation in enforcement only at the regional level. So Kenya has been part of Interpol, and every year major in targeting different sectors who may have heard of or Pangia. They tend to when they operate, and when they do in over 180 days, successful. The last ones were quite successful with counterfeit medicine treatment, including P2, which the emergency. So people discovered that for such among the big consignment and anti-malaria being one of the highest prevalence of counterfeit. In international at regional level being built as organized up. We do not have as counter may not be it causes problem because of agreement. You have protect at but for good illness, you can't stop them to give them safe passage next border and tell the sister country that please handle it accordingly. The challenge that is that because Kenya is not all our borders or have officers there. Traders continue to countries and carry them in back to the country through. And we currently know that control committees are doing months. Those new border points are being. Recently, there have been discussions on open SWAM in Trans Nzoia. People perhaps may not. There is now in Namanga, Lunga Lunga. That is continuing to what may be done, say, would keep helping. Points of Mombasa, Busia are already well. We'll have many, especially region where still porous.
Are there plans to increase the number of porous borders?
We know that challenges they had is because institutions enlisted for merger, and employment and promotion. Only 45. We've made requests that moratorium be lifted to help. We hope the authorities to us and come through so that we can increase. Because while technology were for deterrence and effect, one or two officers on the ground and thinly spread stations with us. So if one or two then there isn't much. We are looking at that to address that looking at what do we have officers to us from the other law enforcement allow us to recruit personnel to undertake that.
The approach, does it help in enforcement?
In fact, one of successes I think happened in 2020 when a process was anchored in the office of the member. Mr. Wanyama was the person designated, and that year alone was able to seize R1 billion. So the multi-sector between different agencies on the strengths, even where now our inspectors may be low.
Okay. It's booming. What trends are you seeing, particularly as electronics and cosmetics?
We are now aware that we did indicate nearly % of Kenyans who did purchases in the last 12 online. So that is a big. So Kenya as a country is early 20 launched its first comprehensive and within that e-commerce, the need to bring on board online the Jumia, the others, to bring them on. They should not list who are not very, who can't win or real products. Be mechanisms to delist. We know that platforms may be doing a great job use of other social media. Now there are people who sell on Instagram, Facebook, and sometimes to do that. So accountable, but the government and other agencies are laws so that speed with the because you would know that and counterfeit laws earlier some came into force. So to just constitutional dictates the changes, but also that we have this shifting seller, the some wall. Nowadays you have a seller that is known. Online, they send through courier, so to seize if they are counterfeits, because single pieces to the buyer. There is need to educate people, value that but they don't last long. People that you do and think you've at 6,000 shillings 2 months gone out pretty fast. So what are genuine, perhaps at 20 have the shoe. Last I was able to show my son I have a Nike that I bought that is passed on to 2 of them exists, but the one they themselves is no longer. What did you do with yours? Able to show them that because of these reasons be worn out pretty. Realize that, then you realize. So at the initial looks cheap. to replace it, then it is more expensive. They are also made supposed to be. So you have now skin diseases emerging, beginning to emerge. This is the effect. So we all need to be aware. Try and the government understands it would like us to have affordable, but are genuine enough to ailments easily treatable because knows much about them.
Okay. Websites, products, agencies like flags are
the anti has under Kenya ICT authority. We are trying to develop that can flag time and lawfully or freeze them listed. If it is online platform, then we will be asking them that agent that is selling. We are also seeking process. There is a back of authenticating, so that if you say I'm an online, there is a way to authenticate, being able to draw you either to a mobile phone number or an IP address. If we need to be, then there is a process to be held accountable. They have sold those goods without. There is also you are a trader and you only want, and what you bought, it was genuine. Those who are doing, but we want to. There are effects to sanctions if you are selling counterfeit goods. We are reaching out. We want to do or e-commerce support, so that a trader that we will be able to link their owners, the intellectual, so that they tell you who are the licensed, that you don't to this other deceptive that may just understand what they are selling. So we think that as we there is a process to try and the anti-counterfeit or amended accordingly. There are people who are also abilities of pursuing criminal charges under the cyber because it is in existence. Crime law is in existence. It will be sufficient to help preferring charges against traders that are selling counterfeit. They are used, if not on alert, to ensure that they are fit in the 25.
What other emerging trends have you seen blooming about seeing?
Was one of the technology and able to adapt perhaps acre of a manufacturing plant to run of shoes or clothes. Now, with technology, they do the elsewhere with a prototype for brands. So technology, even the counterfeiters. So the challenges that emerges then is how to keep, because you must be of them. Otherwise, then you will not manage in countering them. In fact, is the period planning to set up where a set of officers trained on how to and they will globally develop so that they can when they are needed.
So what are
one is just versatility, ability to see what naked eyes don't see. If you are going to what in a counterfeit, legitimate or genuine phone, what you can see by naked help you. It are so subtle. It will require people, electronic engineers, cyber security experts, novel characteristics, so that when some hand touch on your phone, they are is genuine or it's not, but that to easily know that this. Secondly is how to adopt technologies. So there are stress technologies that you are able to know Kenya, and now South Sudan, that it was smart, or this good, but it is in Kenya. That unless a crime that has taken a very consolidated to deal with the spread, our skill sets in dealing. So we are also engaged into product knowledge. Currently, we undertake main product training, and that helps us. It helps enforcement agencies. So inspectors from care, from administration, from regular, tend to bring people so that we are able the same set of knowledge the country, not faiths, but all trade that continue to both as a country.
But why is Kenya a market for counterfeit goods, despite the increased vigilance we have seen, areas that you've talked about when it comes to combating?
One is to remain a hub, a logistics hub. So, as I said, some of our market was because of the logistics process. We are also a big market. These challenges exist. Sometimes when Kenyan, they think that we have counterparts from US, and they do seizures, smuggling every. I've talked to European Union. They also are struggling. So this is not a problem. It's a global pandemic. In to work together. We know 80% in Kenyan market, they come from outside the. That's one reason, and that process necessary. But we have more countries, where we see are coming largely in countries, beginning to engage with those countries to do more, that they are not seen countries that manufacture counterfeits. Increasing the last 2 or 3 international intellectual property enforcement, we call them ICIP. ICIP 1 was held in 2022, and there was sense that we had over funds from 18. So we are exchanging skill sets that are their insights of what we also bring them on board, like Japan, China, US, France, UK, and they are. So you would see that the of alcoholic beverages perhaps stepping, because they are also not only local, national brands, technologies for that are going to be easy. So mobile phone, you only need a scan and you can authenticate you have bought if it's real or that. It automatically to the IPR owner. It gives geology. Drink was bought. Cast enforcement. Many sectors expected those authenticate. It is the seeds. All company sector manufacturing. When you record a cheap be able to the product before you that shop and because it tells you it is not right, either or you complaint. So what you are.
Times Kenyans will the discounted product at the shelves.
Yeah, it's both our economic, because who does shilling today? Some money, but what the organization is saying, sometimes you are saving 10 shillings, it cost you 1,000 shillings. So understand that perhaps it would be proper today than to, and you don't have an option. But in the long run, are expensive. Understanding that. And 3, that you have products of different. We are also confusing Kirinyaga Street, and you want, do you want grade 1, grade 2? It can be possible to have that are genuine. Want is a situation where 3, a product that we must all come country, we will. So different grades can, and pricing will, and people can then buy their buying capacity, but not you are there your alternative is to buy counterfeit. What the country is saying no to, different grades, you can conduct, but second-hand. So we have between those products and know that imitations and sometimes the standards, but most of the basic standards sold without the authorization.
Okay.
So the owner the standard, somebody else invested enough in the research and development into a quick product. Not everybody to know that you can be. I was explaining to my colleagues in the morning that it could be your lipstick. Try and think lipstick could just. So you've been destroyed. You are looking at saving 5 bob. The medication, all of and able to engage segments where more people who are using, we want to bring them on board so that the sector is not of counterfeiters. Where it is people for schools, we want Kenyan publishers us to understand the country a citadel for those who choose to.
Products are not counterfeit.
No.
Which are the most counterfeited products in all? Yeah.
Perhaps the latest study we've done, we didn't do but for categories. When we did that, the latest automotive were the most prevalently counterfeit percent, alcoholic at 19%, agricultural at 12%, calls electronics, products nearly at the same percentage. We have of nearly 11 categories. The study we only focused on those 4 main, being that automotive prevalent, followed in energy and electronic, medical equipment were counterfeited. Now has done more safeguarding counterfeiting. There are more prescription required. But to see that on your list, on your prescription, the doctor who prescribed the medicine for you required to give their name. If it were to affect you, so we are trying the agricultural sector by saying let's adopt technologies so that if in Nairobi on Haile Selassie Road on any I should be able to of that quickly on my I scan a gadget able to tell so and so is trying to design your name, but it is similarly the person buying in Kitale should be able to know and quickly be able to throw the counterfeiter because you are able to know that was selling counterfeit, and the inspectors and officers will be asked and see where if of those. But is that we all just I think at the heart the effect money. So let's make smaller profits, and the country, those of us, if we become a country because we want quick monies, be blacklisted by certain, we are not a good market for them.
Think twice before they see that space. To a close, looking at success in Kenya.
Success, two things that we've lessened the presence of nearly eliminated. It's a good dream. Everything so that we don't have a market would be so that will be dealing with the counterfeiting side. That we have possible level of awareness. Our research in awareness was about 65%. That we've just launched in June, awareness are at 83%. So if that is the average, translate into perhaps not buying counterfeit. But increasingly I am aware of counterfeit. I was cheated into. Also have nearly 70% of Kenyans who are aware counter because of stature. You want to have a bag for ladies. Know that, and I will go for 30,000. But so long as you have from Tomboya or Ronald Ngala, 5,000, and it has the level of bragging. Social status is all problem. The middle are buying counterfeits just to fit into a social. It's a new category, and we are now and develop perhaps on how may we intervene.
Okay.
A category.
To a close of a genuine find out.
Yes, that happened. I've also, even though I work for anti-counterfeit, my relatives say, give me some, go and buy sneakers, and to guide them. But now liberal, so I allow you to go and buy. Discussion after you've bought. See that when I'm having, begins to say, I wish I, then how he looks at it, you know, would you want a receipt? They are already telling, yes, could be problematic. They are avoiding tax, but accountability, because you can't walk. I'm asking more people, your resources may be on the receipt, and by that we, anytime you have, you could be the one being.
Okay. Mr. Maina, so that is Head Director, Research and Policy, Counterfeit Authority, talking to us of counterfeit goods, how they sneak into our economy and safety, stop their cycle. That has been how we can combat this. Now, we put a cap on that. But before I go to the next conversation, or a few minutes, this morning is how many CHAN titles has won. That is what we are. How many CHAN titles has DRC Congo won? You can share with us your feedback on our website and also on our YouTube channel, as well as our social media platform at KBC Channel 1. Njenga, let's take a commercial break. We'll be back.
Next month and we know let's rally stars so because we expect we are in our home soil, so we wish they have a very good coach, Premier League, and us England. So I think they have to do is do their best. We will be watching on KBC because country for training camp.
Dawa kwesa ya fasili ya Afrika na maka Surida afya mataifa ni wa mtandao wa timu itaka dola za .5 ya kulinyanyua kutoka kwa mubashara kwenye 1 mwenzio wa dhati.
So you want to know whether I love
unataka usena bele nilidhani kuwa rangu kwako, lakini naahidi
kukuambia
kama
and the perception of how they view the church and how they want to with the church.
In me, every other time she invites softening God. So I go in the crusades, I'm preaching the gospel, I'm winning souls. They be one with God, to really know, to pursue God heartedly.
team that's playing right, played hockey, that compete with traffic, that play better.
Lililo matumaini. is the secret of the rain? What rain might bring? Well, let's find out.
You have to. You know what I'm going to teach you today? Teach you how to Mommy Rabbit.
Baba yako ndiye alimuita. Na hata heshima. Si ndio? For real? Mimi nimemfukuza. Haya. Isipokuwa hiyo.
So it's that there is no more trouble.
Macho ikienda, God
experience many and I will Tatu asked me, where are you? And I am for understand cost me
Pema si pema, ujapo pema ukipema.
Isini wa kesho taa.
Ni kweli kuwa interneti ina hatari?
Maudhui yasiyofaa.
Wazazi wanafuatilia video ambazo watoto interneti.
Taenda kumsalimu wakati timilifu.
Nimeenda kumsalimu.
Kumba fasihi simulizi.
yanasahaulika kwa
of Biz Check. Now we take a look at sport tourism in this hour, which is $1 billion global industry, generating an estimated over $6 billion. In Kenya, the intersection between sports and tourism presents massive. But before we delve into that conversation, our trivia question this morning is: how many CHAN titles has DRC Congo won? We'll be sampling your answers at the end of this conversation, and we will be telling you who has sent us the correct answer. Here with me, I'm joined by Joshua Njenga, or rather treasurer at Kenya Association of Tour Operators, and is the Chief Executive Officer, Kenya Tourism Federation. Joshua is on my and on my farther left is our studios. Delve into of 600 million. The sports industry, or the sports tourism industry, is. Can Kenya economize on this potential? That's with you, Susan.
Thank you very much.
All right.
To start with, interestingly, if that is the worth of the sports tourism, then definitely, because with this opportunity that we have for CHAN, then it creates an that we are also towards the 5 million tourists by 2027. I mean, it's a good leap. So as the numbers increase, so we are saying sports and tourism are joined by is what we shall preach, because actually tourism and sport is one. The other one, of course, is all over as tourism. So yes, we have an opportunity to grow both in revenue and the numbers into the country. And regional tourism and the African tourism as well, which is a new Kenyan tourism industry.
Okay.
Thank you.
Our area seems to be underexploited. As a country have developed a comprehensive financial and socio-economic impact of.
I believe we have, and especially for something it provides a golden opportunity to showcase sporting talent, but also to showcase our vitality and its offerings as well. So we not only look at as we look at it in terms of the gateway of actually turning future travelers.
For its athletic prowess, strides in positioning itself as a sports hub. Strategies are in place to transform this strength. Sports
is. That we have stadiums. Our strategy, first of all, is the infrastructure. People to come, but what are the infrastructure? But let's go back. Hosted, how many editions of WRC brought the region, especially Ugandans, into Kenya? Strategy is building countries. And let's not forget, because now we need to have so that in their own country they own up the tourism space. Actually, tourism, I think, is understood like people who are out of this space demystify, and actually we realize sports is tourism. By you, wherever you're coming from, to another place where that is actually tourism. The bottom up, because we have now will be selling. I was seeing the thing into the stadium. Don't bring food. Don't. That is money into the 190. The women, everybody will be covered. Bringing everything together is the mesh and demystify tourism. I said earlier, embeds into. Thank you.
Okay, as we to look at as we when it comes to football, when it comes to the 8th edition of the Africa. Susan has talked about the opportunity. What other opportunities Kenyans out there to 2024?
Tourism, of course, the around the who benefit directly or in activities. Other sporting events like the Leo Marathon, which has been growing over the years. So Standard Chartered Marathon, and this can actually bring in over the world. And some of these bring in not only regional, continental to come and watch, and in the process, of course, our tourist products.
Okay. Okay. To the link.
so much. Then you have given the law.
FKF and sport sponsors in Kenya starting from next season. Yes, the total amount will be 1 shillings, 85 million shillings. I think I will just doing the check. The president of the federation was Asante. Speak fast. Utakuja uongea. Time you are doing the check, I moved the podium. Asante sana.
Honorable Karol, Azam, NEC members, FKF, of branches, Harriet, staff, guests, Jumbo. Mine is quite, I think, straight of you to or to receive PESA. And I think it's been a long time coming. Majority of you are in terms of what it means, not KPL, but in totality. Time corporates, our local football, and gives the confidence now is back. I want to take this opportunity for PESA and to thank Captain for believing, trusting that the new federation is up to the task. This is so significant, and to every support companies that invest. At times we underrate of sports. It is so in our young people build the ecosystem of the country. Not only we are able to tackle such a country, health issues, employment amongst the youth, and I would like to urge concessions for companies that are investing in food legislation that is so helping out corporates that are not yet enough. We need to make it better, to review, of course, this, and I know it's currently so that we can enabling environment that will more partners and Azam this bandwagon. In the coming months, years, more corporates and opening up still need SL. We are talking. I'm hopeful. Announcement. We are Premier League and then as develop football, focusing on. It is important. We also look at youth football is critical. My NEC members here, you know, when because eventually we will all have. What is the legacy? And I think the youth.
Hussein Mohammed, the president to us about the sponsorship, the league, and we'll be bringing podcast. We continue with our conversation right here. Sports tourism and Joshua Njenga, Kenya Association and owner days, and we have you federation just had from how our local football be passionate about local football and how we can like such. How are we promoting sports tourism, Susan, as a complete experience, cultural events, nature trails, and
well, thank you for that question. January this year, through the Kenya Tourism Board, we launched the Kenyan trails, and that when we were at the youth, the culture, the sport, different places that Kenya is endowed discussions. So with that, and I'll go back to WRC, we look at what people do as well as their. Let's go up north to the Chalbi Desert. Potential, and that's what the minister through the looking at, that we have origin, we be private kind. So we have desert sports. We have the scuba diving, things that tourism is looking at. And that's why I said earlier, if domestic tourists realize much that before we the country and start going out, they are good to go, but let's first exhaust. And that is how then whatever kind of sports, and let's go back to also we have Kenya Open Golf. Every space that there is sports being made is there taking advantage of out of the play. This there is the national the road where our offices are. There is Daphne Sheldrick. So tourism is a so that is where we need to take. What to do is produce packages that we have a new experience in nightlife. We have that is you can go even up to Naivasha. So there are charter planes from Wilson, Mombasa, and come back. Go.
Okay.
Thank you.
So Joshua, what are those packages, Susan, when it comes to August that will be hosting visitors who are coming and have great spending?
Usually we've got packages to the fans, and they can be able to sample some products. I think that tourism industry and the sports ministry need to work because to take full advantage of this early, as you know. But yeah, specialized travel packages, you know, before and after
the event and after as well. You've talked about law when it comes to and tourism board frameworks and policies, maybe.
I think I'll pass on that one.
Yeah.
We work very closely with tourism. Maybe Susan can let.
Yes, and also view trails. So there's a you guys have trails as
An associate in the tourist associations. So most of us to them. So we are helping those products.
Okay. Build?
Yes, they are products for.
All right. Susan, you said launch running series offering attracted adventure seekers. Adventure seekers.
And that's through Kenya Tourism Federation, works very closely. And if you look at them, we targeted the young generation media to experience. So yes, it is through the Kenya Tourism of to really mesh and ensure as the people are coming to do this and the other, take time and messaging. And, we are just encouraging and love the beauty hospitality that we have. So yes, as tourism, and from the Kenya collate all the associations, travel and hospitality industry, voice and be in the space together.
Continue with this conversation. Let's head to the Managing Director of Kenya Broadcasting Corporation Committee and the matter of pension scheme. Let's hear.
We are just to ensure that the list is financial and not selling them to the scheme. These assets are, again, they're chosen to 7 billion deficit areas with appreciation will benefit the. Again, we are also drawing on success by Telposta, Kenya Railways. We want to liquid and transferable and financial relief. KBC transfers to this. We'll also work with a president. Because we have asset managers with in Africa. We will also help them monetization option that will be to income. We will be able to benefits in ability and will oversight by the time are done by which is the been given. However, that our secretary has requested an arbitration in KBC service to see whether we can extend. March 20 have completed there. And like I said, in and oversight audits, just to verify asset valuation shared to this by 25. Importantly, is the regular consultation, which again RBA, which will align with stakeholder collaboration. Now, in turn, we are against claims. We, of course, 4 billion of how this. We, as a interested party, is separated just to involve and operation against, all this insolvency. Then, in terms of KBC asset commercial, did include. We, as you talked about, we hope that we'll be able to unlock and
Just hold on, Khalid.
Yeah.
First issue, drive to after giving these monies. On that first, in two parts.
Scarlett Chair, the Managing Broadcasting Corporation, talking about KBC staff, and we'll be giving a comprehensive story during the lunchtime bulletin and 9 p.m. Now, coming back to a conversation, we left Joshua. I would like to know what kind of are we expecting?
Looking at about 2.3 million tourists, center from the US, but the 9% of those were actually from 8% of those were from Tanzania, and other sports be able to promote them effectively can actually be able numbers from the continent increase the traffic for the intra-Africa.
Okay, you said you're an owner of hotels. You've said occasional lodge or
holidays.
Local hotels, tour operators, and hospitals for the expected surge.
That is one, you know, and you have to work very closely with hotels, and then again, you know, with the to ensure that the seamless of our guests.
Okay.
So it's a with our partners.
Okay.
Yeah.
Susan, how prepared lakhs of visitors?
Thank you very much. Very interesting question. When we reach, it's time that we attract more numbers. We realize that infrastructure should go along wish for. So starting from the airline, we are looking at what are they bring more people, and not mainly looking at international, because from the continent we have we see nowadays people are doing the tracks, the and also crossing transport together, and industry has woken up to that realization. Something else that we have looked into, and we'll take the case service that we have segmented. They'll pay the African will pay to maybe access the parks region, so that we can give rates to end the tour operators, the hoteliers. At the time that we also looked at what are we putting for this cluster for the region, because what is their spending, what is the they spend, because if we again products, then we risk the people go elsewhere. Space of realizing that, and just needs to go and look for different packages, competition, and the reality is here that we have. So that is also a space as and under 30 looked at how do we be on the same space, compete on the they could be having pricing, but they will regulate so that we are an affordable price the other person and of our tourists. Even now, the sporting event, it is good to also guys. And what should we then, if there are packages to example, how do we ensure that the people are regulated, are checked?
Access this package. Where do I go to?
We've got where you can actually be able to reach. You can also check. We've got a list of membership. You can actually be able to access our. You're able to contact for any specialized packages, but digitally. So you're also able to view.
Okay.
Yeah.
Susan, hand in hand with tourism, I would like to know how the tournament infrastructure in host cities like Nairobi, we have Kisumu, influencing infrastructure development.
Look at the road network. Honestly, there's become better, and the transportation on the roads, the land cruisers, airlines. You realize there's low cost into Wilson, for example, prohibitive. You'll go to Mombasa, you'll go to the airport. Of course, there's the airport experience better, and for the security, we have the tourist police unit. We have the safety center that is. So we have structures that ensure of tourists is in the country, transported, and we are working very closely with the counties. Are the host of our project. Kisumu, of course, is a county there. County, Mombasa is a county, especially with their executives, to ensure those thereof. If let's say we are going the is it in your neighborhood, Joshua, have ensured that the county, and that goes hand in hand with the truth that discussion.
Instrument and of security, as well as ensure the safe effort of
very closely with the Kenya Tourism Security and Safety Center, where we are able to get if there's any to ensure that our travel seamlessly.
So if I take like the package,
the
way Masai Mara.
I mean, our two.
All right.
As such, the collaboration with the Kenya Tourism and Safety Center. So should there be any which might interfere with the movement, we're able to know pretty quickly, and this is where.
Okay.
Yeah.
So ensuring smooth logistics, arrivals to city transport, to stadium access.
As I said, the federation is open. Even now, if you call any intra, what we have put together is there's a, I can give here, 645. There's an Airtel line 6174999. Email address operations@KBC. With those, and we have for the two operators, there's a report immediately. You can see we have a WhatsApp group for the members. Spot in any event that they spot disenfranchising a tourist. Even when I'm here, I can see whether there is anywhere. So from to the destination, we are in. As I said, the phone mob has come to save us from to dial. There is those infrastructure that is yours, and these operators and the public know Federation Safety Center that no matter whether you're domestic, regional, you can call and say, recently there was a group that, and I and said, I have X to transit from point TP, and they provide escort. They are also very closely working with us at TPU, and she's very vibrant. Come to Kenya, travel to. We are taking care of listening partners in tourism. Yes.
Depending on the pocket.
Yes. And again, work with, as Mr. Njenga, we work with someone in trouble. It is advised listed hotels, so be fell, and we can be able to the culprit.
Okay.
Thank you.
So how itself to benefit the games?
Basically, by pushing the digital members and to the public. We've got approximately 300, about 300, by pushing that information digital. And individual level, the so to the potential customer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Local communities to promote culture tournaments.
Thank you. Yes, because as I had into this, if the local communities to tourism see the benefits, they will with the counties and with, and as I said, and the communities that the regalia, that's the word. So yes, that everybody comes out with $100 to the benefits that we are talking. If churn happens and people are like, then the next time we plan, no ownership. So right now is to ensure that they have to this, and we are all benefiting as a country.
If I may just add to that. Today's travel, they're also looking at things like culinary, wellness, into the cultural. So you find it's one of the they're being asked for by today's traveler.
And what's post? There are a period of, but are there beyond the?
Because we have a time 5 million in 2027. Okay. Apart from the churn that we have now, boost the numbers a bit. Then still high, and we are now, it is just not about the wildlife, as you said. It's about the food we have in this culture. And KTB had launched horticulture, and you could see the graph. There's all things to do all year round. Then the momentum is kept. Not only for the high peak season or is like Chan, but then there's something to be done in October. As I said, the youth and the digital nomad. I know a friend who's and she doesn't mind going to vacation in the country. So that is, apart from the mainstream travel, opportunities that are running on there. So yes, and we are looking at the very seriously because that is where the money is. Because if something, I take a selfie, be asking, and where is that? Take a selfie, or you take a and you send it. Space is really right of it, so that we send the right message.
On Joshua alluded to use as engage as well as ensure that is right.
Yes, there's a lot of virtual integration. Creating more awareness. Viewership on it's quite massive. Which is what I said about I think the visa for the countries that will increase the numbers going forward. Our target should be at the intra-African, and as I gave, those are only 2 countries in Africa. So if you can concentrate on those ones as well, very, very easily you reach the 5 million.
Yeah, I think we'll surpass it with the end.
15, I think, 20, the single tourist visa, and the to travel between Rwanda, Uganda, and Kenya. Also in place, you can imagine. And there's use of ID. Passport. Sometimes you can read a passport, and sometimes you don't get to cross. So yeah, I think it's that target, and the 2.4 we are talking about. It's international, domestic for life. We have quite we're way over 2 million or something. There's the there we are in that space. The next leap, and we are.
Sure, action will be on. Right.
Yes.
And other as cattle.
A 2-night package, a 1-night package. Being longer after the, if you're able to do that. Depending on your time, the interests you have, if it's not available. Because right now, it's digital book, mobile, travel planning, and very, very quick.
If you got digital bookings,
that number of say something which is really coming up. It's really picked up. Much faster, but I don't.
Okay, Susan hosting for the Kenya's prepared 2027. And I know earlier sports infrastructure with long-term goals.
As we see far, as we're already having the August. So and with it, with it, for the new upcoming so taking the space to you come to in advance to see. And very much the truth is, let's say I've come for Chan, I'll not be. So we are saying we have great, even going forward, we have great people, we have great culture. Do we have the malls, artifacts? And we want to bring to the conversation earlier that the Ministry of Tourism, that's why private sector, we are selling, let the private sector planning process, so that once we do online, we have done whole.
Is there a platform, Ministry of Tourism, especially with the whole, and coming up with Joshua?
We have both with the State Department and the private sector. The lead for the road, for obvious reason, because they are the of Magical Kenya brand. We have those committees going so that there's no one a wholesome and
before we wrap up this conversation, to link up is our Cabinet Secretary. You can hear from
because, and I've told the meeting that the camps must be stopped. It's 2 days. The camp that had been was attacked. As a result of we are coming to block them. It's ranch and the ones and that's attacked the camp just to KPR office. Lost one officer in hospital, and I will be later to see them. I just want to say that corner, meaning I assure the country started effort together and Kenya Forest take over and occupied for many years. As a safe haven, people also in Meru is the source. Other than that, who are coming to ranches, again, we are who come with who turned out firearms to also engage. Want to commission and the meetings have and want to make sure to grace is by the owners of. They must be documented so that of banditry. That we
The Cabinet Secretary, security as well as about the security measures. And of course, our reporter will be giving us also a comprehensive story on touched on this afternoon, yes, this morning. Now, we wrap up this conversation on both of you. Yeah, funds longer and so let's start with you.
Right. Chan. It is for the funds.
Okay.
And the carryover to enjoy magical Kenya is magical, as the name goes.
All right.
And sample according to the budget. Yeah, go and eat nyama choma. The rumba in some place. Just take a matatu to BD buy the community made souvenirs. Take them the Kenya and showcase what Kenya has.
Joshua, in one.
I'd mention that you know, as a sporting event or as a strategic gateway into future travelers. So even if they're not able, can they come back next year? Can they come back next? Come and sample our tourism offerings.
Okay.
You know. Yeah.
Converting the travelers. This conversation. Oh. Yes. Into to bring the message from our guest this morning, that's National Treasurer at Kenya Association of Tour Operators and Chief Executive Officer, Kenya Tourism. Before I wrap the answers, asking how many Chan titles has DRC Congo won? See some, some who are saying 3, some who are saying 2. Most are saying 2. Are saying 2 of the time, but the answer is 2. For those who have answered 2, just know that you have won this trivia question. The answer is 2. How many? It is 2. My name is Njenga. I now hand you over to Sheila, who will take you through the rest of the bulletin. Have a great afternoon.
Is a highway running through some of Japan. Cycling route that attracts people a year. Kaido. Route runs across the passing over 6 islands as it connects Hiroshima and Ehime prefectures. Most cyclists start their in Today, Onamichi provides what tourists will need, from hotels, schools, maintenance shops. We begin by taking the island. Even for beginners, it mostly follows the exhilarating views over the sea. As long as you know you're on. Along the way are about 140 places to borrow tools. Route of the island. Places to Ikuchijima, as well as beat with its island is famous. Artificial fertilizer, and you can taste the difference. On Omishima Island, Shimanami Kaido, is the ancient Oyamazu. Its famous stand 6. A long day cycling is a dinner of seafood. Seto Inland Sea, one of Japan's most fertile fishing grounds. Could be more relaxing from the beach. The area around the Seto, the tray between